Did the twin flame bruise paint you blue? 'Cause in the city's barren cold, I still remember the first fall of snow and how it glistened as it fell. I remember it all too well. Hey everybody, this is Brittany here with Surfing Waves of Light. I just got back from a solo trip to northern Norway to a place called the Lofoton Islands, and I was guided to go there by my guides. All right, everyone, so welcome to video 3 of the Lofoton Islands series. In this video, I will be channeling the mountains and the Arcturian Council. We'll be talking about bringing your past loved ones with you as you move through your life, peaceful interpretations of death and ways to think about it that bring ridiculously peaceful thoughts. We'll also be discussing creating your own microclimate and how to integrate the mountain energy with the watery flow that we are. Also, thank you for your patience because I needed to re-record the intro music. You may have noticed it's different from the other videos. I needed to make my own because the other I got from Canva, and I had a little copyright thing. I wasn't in trouble, but I just thought, let me make my own music. So again, thank you for your patience. I hope you enjoy this video. I re-listened to it the other day, and there's a great channeling, and then I move into some of my own personal insights at the end. There's some fun movie clips. It's going to be another good one. So thank you all for being here, and I'll see you at the end of the video. Hey everybody, this is Brittany here with Surfing Waves of Light. This is day 2 of my Channeling Norway Lofoten Islands series. And I am going to bring through a message. As I finished up my day today, I was inspired to channel a message. The question that I received was, what am I here to learn? So I will go in, and I wanted to show you a little bit of my background. You can't really see the other mountain, but I'll maybe take a picture and show you guys later or in one of the videos. All right, so this is the guides on what I am here to learn and how it applies to the current ascension process that we are all in. See you guys on the other side. We are the mountains. We are the mountains of the northern end of your earth. We are still and we are silent. And we go through many different changes. We are wet, tinged by the rain, and we are covered by the snow, and we are heated by the sun. And yet, nowhere do we go. We are the mountains. We are serene within our mist. We stand tall in all that we do, and to nothing do we resist. We are the mountains of the Lofoten Islands. We are drastic and extreme, from sea level to many meters above. We focus on our dream. We are the mountains. We are not flowing like the water and the oceans and lakes and rivers below. We are here to mark our ground, to stand tall, no matter what is going on in the show. We are the mountains. We have been standing tall for many years. And what we found is no matter what's around, our presence has always been here. We are the mountains. We do not bow to the wind or change with the seasons or tides. We focus our energy on where we are and allow our natural ambiance to rise. We are the mountains, and by the North Pole we live. For though we do not exist so close to the center of the earth, within our heart does the center of the earth live. We are the mountains. We are hard and steep and fast. We emanate our energy through pure presence, though loving and most vast. We are the mountains, and what we wish for you to know, you dears, is that as the tides and winds and changes of life come, you can stand proudly outside of your fears. We are the mountains. Our cores are solid and hollow and everything in between. Beings and energies may try to change us, but we know who we are in our dreams. We are the mountains. We do not allow the weather to shift who we are. We create our own climate and focus on our forward projection, our own star. We are the mountains of the Lofoton Islands, to be specific. Although we do not know names, our timeless essence and age has changed the shape and size of what we are called. But what we are called is minuscule compared to what we emanate, to what our energy brings. And so our message to this dear one and to each and every one of you is, in times of rapid change and shifting, we encourage you to be like us. We encourage you to stand tall in who you are, aligned with love and aligned with the future you want and not the present you see. For even when it is cold and bitter and heavy from the snow, we do not focus on that energy. We keep our focus on the future, on the summer, on the mild temperatures, for we do not love the strong heat either. We prefer the moderate climates, the springs and falls and lighter weathers. We are the mountains. We have endured on this plane for many a year. And so we think our strategy is quite sound, and we hope that you all can hear. We are the mountains, and we are doing everything we can to show you how to create your own microclimate within your individual being and those around you. That is why beings love us. That is what our majestic nature is. It is our ability to stand tall in who we are, no matter the circumstances that surround us. We are the mountains. We are here to support each and every one of you going through these times, not only in our example, but in the solid rock presence that we bring. And so you need not take a stone from our physical eminence to bring our energy with you. The next time you are in a situation which seems crowded or busy or out of control, or you feel ungrounded, we encourage you to go within and say to yourself, I am the mountains. and feel deep within. Notice your rock core. Notice yourself hardening, not into fear or into resistance or separation. Harden yourself, discipline yourself into your own energy, into alignment with your own love heart center. Many of you have become adept at adapting to the world, shape-shifting and changing like the tides and the waters. Many of you have needed this energy to survive, but we tell you now that the mountain energy is quite appropriate. We do not post on social media or shout our messages far and wide. No, we stand where we are and we create beauty in our current position. No matter the season, the rains or the tides, we stand and we emanate the solid mass density energy that we are. That is how we change the past, the future, and the present, just by being. For when you be, for when you exist within your own solid foundation of values, of alignment, of liturgical essences, aka your belief systems, you can do anything. And your job now, as beings who are open to hearing us, nature, extraterrestrial, spiritual beings, your job at this time is to take the energy from the higher dimensions and from the higher dimensions on this plane and continuing to fill yourself up with them and bringing them into these situations, into these more normal, average 3D situations, as this one calls them. We are the mountains. We stand firm, and in our embodiment, we sort of force those around us to match our frequency instead of lowering to theirs. And so we will give you this analogy. If 5D was a boat that was floating high on the surface, we will say it this way. If 3D was a boat flying high on the surface of the water, and the way to move into 5D was to sink the ship, then what you are the water bringers. Every time you move into nature, you move into alignment, meditation, breathing, healthy eating, any of the ways you raise your vibration, you fill up your cup and then you bring it out into the world, your floating boat, and you dump it in. And so each time you do that, the boat sinks a little more and a little more and a little more until that 3D world that was floating on the surface slowly is absorbed by the water, the very 5D water. Now we know most of the time we use analogies of floating, of ascension, of up, but truly vibrational shifting has nothing to do with any direction, except that it is a feeling of more love. And so if the water is love, then you sink the ship. And if the air is love, then you lift it up. But we hope you understand our metaphor, for this is what we ask you to do. That is your jobs. It is like you are putting out a fire, we will say, with the water. You fill up your cup and then you throw it on the fire. Now that does not mean that you should deplete your energy. It is just an analogy. It is just to say that your job is to move between worlds, between 5D and 3D. And each time, bring more 5D with you and ground it in. That is what we are. That is what our energy is. We are the masters of grounding in the energy. We are the ground. We are the ground that rose up above the flat surface and reached for something higher. And this is what each of you are also. You are metaphorically becoming the mountains, the stake in the ground that holds firm as the world changes around you. Your job, as this being's uncle always tells her, is not to look for peace in the world, for there is no peace in the world. That is not its purpose. Your job is to bring peace. Your job is to embody peace. And that does not mean you must always embody peace. You can go through your moods and your moments and your breakdowns. But the core principle is that you do not remain in those energies, that you find your ways to transmute those energies and come back to peace, and then create from there. Every physical thing, writing, speaking, acting, every physical thing that is of the higher love vibrations that you embody, you emanate that energy into the consciousness of this planet. And when the consciousness of this planet is filled with beings that are aligned with love and really sticking that energy into the ground, really standing firm like the mountains in that energy, energy cannot exist that is not of the same frequency range. So when you set your north for love and you really hold that frequency as your job, as your true nature, you will not allow beings that are of lower vibrations into your field. So consider that as you move through these times, as you're doing the work of clearing out the thoughts, beliefs, and understandings that do not bring you peace. For if there is a story that is not bringing you peace, there is work to do. And we say focus on the small things, the small rocks. Focus on those first, for they are the easiest to clear. And you may find that a lot of these small rocks are supporting larger ones. And as you move out these tinier rocks, then it becomes like the foundation for allowing the big one to fall out of your field, fall out of your consciousness. For any belief that is not of the vibration of pure, gentle, compassionate, unconditional love is heavy. It weighs on your vibration, and you will feel it physically through illness, through tiredness, through bloating, through issues, through lack of manifestation of the things you want. Move into your day, into your life, do the work, be willing to move past any resistance you have to doing the work. If you do not feel good, be creative. If you do not feel good, go for a walk. If you do not feel good, as our dear channeling friend Abraham Hicks says, go pet your cat or your dog. Your job is to be keen in your focus, to notice when your mind has wandered and bring it back. That is your main job. It does not matter what is going on around you, whether you have money or not, whether you have status or not, whether you have a partner or not. These things will not bring you happiness or peace if you are not already emanating that energy. Do not wait for the political situation to change or for the weather to change, as this being is experiencing here, to include peace as a part of your life. Now, it does not mean you cannot be upset. We have compassion for you humans. It is a difficult challenge you took on here. But know also that the more peace you emanate, the more okay you are with the things around you, the more you hold that vibration firm and commit to your peace, commit to your trust and faith, that is when the magic will occur. It is when you have released any resistance or wanting or expectation, the white knuckle, the gripping onto things, that is when it will flow. And so we want you to use flow when it comes to your manifestation, when it comes to living your life. But we also want you to understand the role that us, the mountains, and the discipline has as a part of this journey. It is important that each and every one of you stands firm in love. You be disciplined in your practice of love. And that is our message for you. This has been the mountains. And of course, the Arcturian Council came in to summarize their message at the end. For we are full of words, we are full of life, and we of course have a presence here on the Lofoten Islands. This is where we work with our Nordic extraterrestrial beings and friends, and if they are inspired, they may come through at a later date. But for now, we wanted to bring through the mountains because they are so clear, they are so present, they are very close and personal here, not in a way that is often in other places where the mountains are far away, No, the sea and the mountains are juxtaposed in such a position that you can understand how they work together to create the climate, to create this beautiful island chain that exists in the sea, close to the north, the center of the earth, as we have been showing this being. We are not saying any shape or color of this planet. We are just saying that there is a center here at the north. There is an emanation of energy, an origin of energy of sorts, a very important origin of energies. There are many different places on this plane where energy originates, but the north of your world is one of those places. And so we will leave you all with that for today. Be disciplined in your love and be like the mountains in setting your vibration firm, and then allow yourself to flow like the rivers and the tides and the waves, having life just bring to you everything you need, not wanting, not expecting. Through your stillness of center, all that you need will come. And in the meantime, just stand firm. No matter what occurs in the outside world, if your vibration is high, you could be walking through a field where bullets are flying in either direction, and you will not be harmed. This is the level of trust that we are asking you to embody at this time. And so consider this carefully, and we will ask this being to share a story of an interpretation we shared with her on the plane ride here as a closing to this video. We will speak to you all again, the mountains and the Arcturian Council, at another time. All right, everybody. So that was the mountains and the Arcturian Council here in the Lofoten Islands. Really cool, very fun. So yeah, so just to comment a bit, it's really hard to stop speaking like them when I first come out of trance or whatever. So just to comment a little bit. So yeah, like I booked this trip and like it's supposed to be cloudy all week, which is funny because part of why I thought I was coming here was to maybe see the Northern Lights, but if that happens, cool, and if not, also okay. I'm going to allow that to flow and stand firm in my peace, that my peace is my most important thing, or my primary goal, as we say in Spot It. So the story they want me to share with you all is about my flight here. So I've taken 4 flights so far to get here, and I was on 3 pretty normal planes, on the way to Europe, and then to get to Bodo, which is in the north of Norway. And then to get to this island chain, I had to take a puddle jumper plane, which is one of those planes that has, the spinny. And I'm just looking at this like propeller, and I'm literally like, this feels like a toy. Like even how the pilot is moving it. And I do sometimes get flight anxiety, especially when I haven't flown much. I typically don't have it too much like on the plane, but before I get really anxious, I overthink it. And then also while I'm on this plane, I just was thinking like, wow, it was really windy. This feels like a toy. We're in the middle of nowhere. Like we could just crash into the ocean at any moment. And what was really beautiful about that, LOL, what was really beautiful about that was, again, of course, I experienced my fears and my anxieties. That's the thing. Those are going to come. But I got an insight from the guides and sort of, not just an insight, but sort of like a mountainous, very firm understanding, which is that my mood, my energy should not shift. Like I should be happy. Not should. I can maintain my peace even if the plane started to go down. And I'm going to flash to a clip from Super Mario Bros. Of this little star being, and they're basically in this cave, and they're being dipped down into lava. They're all in like prison cells, and it's a bunch of the characters who got caught by Bowser. He's the evil guy in the Super Mario world. And there's this one being who's like, we're all gonna die, yay. And it's very funny because my friend Greg, he's like, I watched the Super Mario movie the other day, and that person reminded me of you, that character, which I thought was cool.
Where am I? Pay him no heed. He is cute, but he is...
In an insane world, it is the same who is called crazy.
How long you guys been in here?
Time, like hope, is an illusion.
Please, we are depressed enough!
There's gotta be a way out of here.
There is no escape. The only hope is the sweet relief of death.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me!
And then, of course, that flashed into my mind as I was prop planing over here to this, island chain that's basically really far north and kind of feels like in the middle of nowhere. And I still had some of those feelings of nervousness, but I focused on that, and I focused on what would I be able to, and of course the plane didn't crash, but if it started to, could I maintain my peace? Could I trust that death really is an illusion and that my soul would leave my body before I entered the icy waters? And I do really believe that. After all my research, my belief is that unless you had to plan a really painful death, I really believe that for most people, any kind of trauma, the consciousness leaves the body before, and you just move into the next state. And it's actually a relief because you leave your body. So in a way, dying is a blessing. Now, the guides are saying they don't want you to take that as an out. They're not saying go die. But we fear death so much, and it is the root cause of all our anxieties on this plane. LOL, physical plane. So when I was in the air and I was practicing embodying this peace, again, I wasn't like super anxious, like maybe like a 2 out of 10, but the thoughts were there, right? Sometimes we're not anxious, but we have these thoughts, these very like sort of invasive thoughts. What was also cool was that morning I had pulled cards from my deck, and I'm going to be sharing with you the cards that I pull. And the one card was ancestors. And I was like, interesting. I thought maybe, Nordic ancestors or something. But when I was on the plane and I was practicing embodying peace, I looked to my right and I saw my dad. Now, I didn't see him with my physical eyes. This is something that we all need to practice, is seeing with our internal sight. But I looked over and my dad was sitting next to me, and he's laughing and he's going, "This is so fun that I can travel with you everywhere you go now." I'm not always cognizant of that, but this was my first solo trip in a long time, and I forgot, because I'm always with people, I sometimes forget to tune into my dad's energy, and he's laughing. And so as these thoughts are coming to my mind, I put my hand out and I could feel him holding my hand. And that was really cool. Like, I really physically could feel his hand, and I could picture his hand. And it was just a really nice moment that came out of, it was like, I guess it felt like it was an extra support, like because I had a fearful thought come up, and then I was actively asking my guides and teachers to bring me understandings and bring me the strength to really trust in everything and know that this whole reality is an illusion, which was another plain insight I got, which was that it's not even a plane, it's just a simulator, so don't even worry about it. But yeah, I just could feel my dad holding my hand, and I really make an effort to still have a relationship with my dad, even though he's on the other side, because I love my dad and he's very important to me. And another illusion that we're under here is that people die and they're no longer with us. And the message I always get from those who pass is that they're very mad. Not really, but they're being playful and joking. They're really mad at the living because they pass away and we ignore them because we're so deep in our grief and our sadness, or we try to focus on other things to distract ourselves. So I guess one of my messages that, this is me speaking from my experience, but also with my guides very present, is that if you are feeling fear, call upon your ancestors, call upon your past loved ones, call upon your guides, and see if you can feel into their energy. Because the truth is they're always there. There's a lesson in the course, and basically it says that we think we're alone if there's no one physically with us. And I just love that one, because I think of that phrase all the time when I feel alone. And even going on this solo trip, both energetically with my spirit guides, as well as I'm staying at a hostel with other physical beings, I knew I wasn't ever going to be alone. And what I'm also finding, as much as I love people, because I do, I'm really enjoying their presence. Like flying on the plane with my dad sitting next to me without words, it was very rejuvenating, and we could both just enjoy the ocean and the mountains and the prop plane and like kind of the silly nature of that experience. And that's why I love novel experiences also. They expand me, but they're just kind of silly. And when you put yourself out there, and it doesn't have to be as extreme as flying to Norway, but when you put yourself out there a bit and then you tune into your guidance, you get to have these really beautiful experiences in what otherwise could be kind of like a mundane moment, flying on a plane. It can be really tiring, it can be nauseating, it can be uncomfortable. And of course, I've experienced all those emotions on this trip, along with crying, as you know, because I forgot how to drive stick shift, but I successfully did it today. So I just wanted to share that story because I know a lot of people have lost loved ones and are losing loved ones. And I've had a really profound positive transformation with my dad. One, his life and his passing deeply impacted my trajectory and why I currently have this YouTube channel and why I do the business that I do. But also, he is really important part of helping bridge the veil between the living and the dead. And it's really important that we actively try to connect with them, not from sadness, not from holding on to the past. While my dad maintains energies and characteristics that he was here, we're never connecting on like a resentment or anything like that. It's such a pure connection. And one of the first times I ever connected with him that way was when I went to El Salvador after he passed. And I was at this beautiful waterfall with a bunch of my friends, or people that we met at the hostel. It was me, Greg, his brother, and a few other guys, a guy from Brazil and Chile, and they were hilarious. And I was sitting at the top of this waterfall, and I looked down, and that was the first time. And I think because I was just having such a great trip, like we were surfing and we were adventuring and we were in El Salvador, and it wasn't very safe back then, but like we were in such a good vibe. We didn't have any issues like that. And I think because my energy was very high, because I was very sad after my dad died, but in that moment, my spirit was really elevated, and it was easy for him to come in. And he said something similar to what he said on this trip to Lofoton, which is like, I get to be with you now. Whereas when I was in my body, my dad didn't love traveling, and, he was a little bit more reserved when it came to those type things. But when he said that, I was like, oh my God, like now I can bring you with me. And so I encourage you all, if you feel inspired, to like bring your loved ones with you who have passed, because that's the future. And I really believe that if we focus on those who have passed away in a really deep and peaceful and authentic way, again, not because we need something out of them, but because we just yearn to connect with them, I think that's how we play the role in thinning the veil between the separation of death and life, and the idea that we can be separate. And it takes us actively engaging with our guides, with our past loved ones, with this non-physical energy to allow that to bridge. And I feel like that's part of what they were saying today in the channeling of like, we move into the 5D. And so like for me, the 5D is surfing, the 5D is being in nature, the 5D is communing with friends and family members and talking about beautiful things. And then you take that energy and then you maybe bring it into the situations in life that are a little more 3D, a little more worker life, or, just, have to get your license or go through airport security or whatever day in and day out things that this crazy world asks us to do. We just are constantly bringing a little more and a little more. And, it's a big job. There's a lot of 5D to bring into 3D, but we can also allow our guides and our past loved ones to help us to facilitate that process. So that is the message for today, day 2. I mean, it's really my first full day here, but day 2 in the Lofoten Islands. It is, I don't even know, none of my clocks work. My computer says it's 12:30. My phone thinks I don't know where my phone thinks I live. So I think it's like 6 p.m. Anyway, I love you guys so much. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Just know that your energy brings a lot to me. So just appreciate you being here and love you guys. If there's any way that I can support you, feel free to send me an email to brittany@surfingwavesoflight.com or, go to my website, or if you have my phone number, reach out. All right. Love you guys so much. Have a beautiful day.
And did the twin flame bruise paint you blue?
And my dad. Bye.
'Cause in the city's barren cold, I still remember the first fall of snow and how it glistened as it fell. I remember it all too well.